Okay, got it. And ultimately, with all the cooperation you did, you end up getting 5 years?
For the cases that I had, I think I did 36 months for those drug cases.
Okay.
You know, but
3 years.
but now you got to remember, if I go to, they do something that's called a proffer. You go there and you got to tell them every crime you've ever committed. They can only charge you with things that they had evidence of before you ratted on yourself. So I didn't do what a lot of these guys do. I like to think I'm a little smarter than some people. I wasn't going to go there and keep secrets from them. I was hoping they didn't have a lot of information on me already because I'd been in prison for a while. So I told them everything I ever did. So if you look at my proffer agreement and you look at my court case, excuse me, it looks like I did a total of 6 years for this murder, 2 conspiracies to murder, but ultimately they didn't have me for any of that. So they couldn't give me time for that because I gave them that. They can't charge me with stuff I'm giving them on me unless they had it before. So I told them everything. And the only things they could charge me with was selling drugs in jail and selling drugs down in Mississippi, because those are the things they caught me for. So my lawyer told me, I had a great lawyer. He said, Frank, don't hide anything from them, because 5 years from now, it'll bite you in the ass and you'll end up doing life for it. So I told them everything.
Okay. I mean, so ultimately you were able to walk away from, the Michael Meldish murder without having to do life in prison, which potentially you would have gotten.
My minimum on that was 480 months. Also, there's something else I want to mention. Because on one of the other interviews I did, I said I pled out to 10,000 kilos, and everyone was like, oh, that's a crazy number. We don't believe it. The way that the federal drug system works is whatever drug you sell, cocaine, crack, heroin, it gets translated into pounds of weed. I know this sounds insane, but anyone can look it up. So all the drugs I sold amounted to, they translated into pounds of weed. So I ended up pleading out to a few thousand kilos of weed, not heroin, because that's how the sentencing guidelines go. Anyone who's been on these cases knows that.
Got it. And 480 months, that's 40 years.
Yeah, 480 months was my minimum
the
on
minimum
the
you were
Meldish
facing. Okay.
But luckily, I gave it to them. They didn't have me. If I would have waited longer, someone would have told on me and I would have done that time.
I mean, ultimately, in terms of the people that you recorded, cooperated against, you were taking the stand as well?
Ultimately, they didn't need me to, because the only person I had to testify against was Steve Crea Jr. And I figured he was going to stand tall with his father and Joey DiNapoli and Matty Madonna like he was supposed to. But instead, he took a plea because he didn't want me to take the stand on him.
Got it. I mean, in terms of all the people that you did cooperate against, how many years in total did all these people get, if you kind of mush the numbers together?
I got 2 guys life sentences. Do I feel great about it? No. Do I really give a shit? No. Because one of them was Chris Lindonio. I never liked the guy. Of course, I played him a little bit because I needed him to run his mouth on the wire, which he was more than happy to do. He also said that his captain was a nobody. He talked shit about Steve Jr. He also said that Frank Altamari, the guy who owned the clubs that we worked at, that he was fucking his own daughter-in-law, which he was. He ended up marrying his daughter-in-law after his son died of AIDS. All that shit's on the wire because he wanted to run his mouth. I didn't say, hey, tell me about Frank Altamari fucking his daughter-in-law and marrying her. I didn't say that. He started running his mouth about it.